beyond betrayed. They used us. They actually, during the campaign, and I don't want to make this political, but during the campaign, the elected officials from the Republican Party, they actually told us that it was not going to touch the documented people.
I will vote for Donald Trump. Let's go!
Hello, my name is Gabri Johnson, and 16 days ago, ICE came to my childhood home in Cary, North Carolina, and took my 55-year-old father, who has legally had status in this country since he was 15 years old. They have, for the last 16 days, refused to give him food and water consistently. He's begged for his stroke medication. We filed an emergency stay of removal so that he could be here for the next 3 to 6 months just to get his health in order, and they said no. This morning, on July 30th, my father called us at 6:45 a.m. sounding weak, and he said they've not been giving me food or water. They make me sit up with shackles on my hands and feet. Jesus Christ, I got a call from the hospital in Texas today saying that my father was rushed there after having a stroke. Like, he's been telling them, give me my medication, give me food, give me water, help me just sleep for 16 days. They laughed at him. They refused. My father had a stroke in the left side of his body, is completely paralyzed right now. ICE is fully responsible for this. He cannot stay in their custody any longer. The nurse gave them my phone, my dad was able to tell them with the weak right side of his body my phone number that he remembered by heart, and I said no, he can't talk to his daughter. He might tell you what hospital room he's in. That is how dire this situation is. This is not love, this is not care, this is not America, it's torture. And they're trying to not only take people out of their homes and break up families, they're trying to kill them on the way there. Please, if anybody is within the state of Texas or works in immigration law and reform, I will do anything. Just please help bring my father back home.
Please, I just want to say this before we continue. If you have anybody that or knows anybody that can help this lady, please do well to reach out to her, or you can leave me a DM too, so I'll be able to reach out to her. But by the way, do you guys saw the video I just finished watching? I will vote for Donald Trump. You see, these guys have been FA, and now they are finding it out. You know, the thing about this thing, why it's funny and at the same time it's not funny, is because some people did not vote for what is happening, so but they are suffering from what is happening. In the course of this video, we'll see more. There is a part I will still show you of how someone voted, and our vote has affected our own child. So we'll see that in the video, but let's just keep enjoying the flow first. For now, I'm going to show you something.
Man was detained by ICE today in Albany, New York. Based on the information that his wife is telling me, they said that they'll be taking him to the Buffalo detention center. This is somebody that, so how I started working with him, I did his RFE, but throughout the entire process, I've never communicated with the wife. I mostly communicated with him. So when I saw her calling me, I'm like, I was on a call doing a consultation, and I don't put anybody on hold, and something told me to, and I answered, and she panicked, and she's like, I don't know what to do, I don't know who to call, I don't know who initially did the paperwork, I am just so scared, I'm so confused. Granted, this is somebody that have their work permit and their social security number. I don't know what's going on. I just don't know what's going on, guys. Just be careful, please. Don't go nowhere unless you 100% have to. I don't know.
Can I ask you all something? Because this is where I think a lot of people are getting confused. For years, immigration wasn't just another issue. It became the issue. We had politicians saying Americans needed strong borders. We had people saying, if you are here illegally, you have to go. Millions of Americans voted for that, and in fact, they voted with that in mind. Now, fast forward to today. ICE is carrying out more immigration enforcement. Community are talking about raids. Family are talking about their loved ones. Business are talking about losing workers. In fact, I made a video recently about farmers losing their worker, right? So, and now suddenly, people are saying, wait, I didn't think it would happen like this. Now, before anybody twists my words, every country has their own immigration law. Nobody's arguing that Americans shouldn't have borders. That's not the argument. That's not the bone of contention, because a lot of people go and say, don't you want Americans to have borders? I'm talking about expectation, because one thing I have learned about politics is that campaign slogan, I said it before, are always simple, but real life is never simple. You can support for stronger immigration enforcement and at the same time feel shocked when somebody you've known for 20 years gets caught up in it. That is just the problem. That's the consequence, because these two are two truths that can exist together. So I think that's what we'll be seeing in this clip. People realizing that the government policy don't just stay in Washington. They will eventually come to you, and they will show up in your neighborhood, they will show up in your church, they will show up in your school, they will show up in even your small business, that small business you are running. It will even pop up in your dinner table, whereby a father would leave and the two children will still remain in America. And that is when politics become real. Not because of somebody on TV said, oh, this, that. No. But because somebody's life will change from policies that are being made. So if you're going to vote for somebody tomorrow, you have to have that in your mind, that whatever you vote for a policy that's going to change. So let's continue.
I'm going to put up 2 videos of ICE at the Walmart in Monroe earlier this morning, Sunday, August 2nd, and then I'm going to come back and tell you more information.
I actually have a video after this one. I'll upload the video so that we can watch what is happening before I would say something. But let's just follow this video and see what's happening of what ICE are doing. I feel like what is going on here is not just about undocumented, but it's about facial.
That was the scene this morning at the Monroe Walmart, where ICE agents busted out somebody's window. They took multiple people. They even went as far as to break a child's tablet at the Monroe Walmart this morning, August 2nd. ICE is all over Monroe. There have been amazing bystanders out and about that this morning at Walmart were throwing water bottles at them until they left. Please, if you are out in Monroe, please go support people. Be there. Bring your whistles. We need to help protect everybody. And thank you so much to the follower who sent this video into me. I appreciate every tip that I get so that I can help warn you guys and keep you safe. I love you.
Okay, here's the video I said I was going to show you guys. So here's the video. You see what's happening. Sometimes I feel like all these things happen because they are not sure of these individuals. They are not really sure of them, but once they look at you, they know that you are Latino. They know that you are not white. They know you are brown, you are black, and they come to you, then they ask you, either you're an American citizen or you're not an American citizen. They just ask you of your documents. And then it made me ask myself, why you Latinos always think or believe that you guys are what's the English now? You guys are white. Most of you guys think you are white. Most of you guys think because you feel like you have the same color. But no, you are being judged not just based on this thing. You are judged based on racism. And this is what you voted for. This is really what you voted for. Racism. Racism. No other words. There is no word that can justify what you voted for. This is just what you voted for. And so you're going to get it in full, because the reason why I feel like you guys don't know what you did is because when Trump was coming into power, he said this thing. So he said it.
What do you mean, as a Latina, you voted against your own family with your parents being out of status?
Imagine.
And now your father's terminally ill, is given 6 months to live. He's detained and going to be deported back. Cynthia, this creator on here called Cynthia Hot Mom, I had seen her post like 2 days ago talking about how she was going to be given a few minutes at his deportation hearing, and
so sad.
She was gonna have a call and they were gonna decide if they were going to have mercy on his soul, essentially, because he's terminally ill. I'm in shock. And then somebody put up this screenshot and says, I'm sorry, what you're going through. As a black immigrant, I noticed that you reposted Trump and RFK. Did you think it was only us that they were deporting? Why did you vote for this? Thank you. And you have every right to ask. To be honest, I only voted for Trump because I supported RFK's health views.
Oh my God.
I mean, she's owning up to it and speaking up, but no one should have to go through what we're going through right now.
Yeah.
And I have other videos on here the last couple of days where I've said, hey, we need to move forward. We cannot keep dwelling on the past.
Yeah.
To vote against your own family, I'm in shock. I'm numb right now. Against your own terminally ill, out of status dad. I feel bad for her parents. I think that's just such a betrayal. And it sucks that it's the consequence of her actions. Like, I feel for her family. But it's like, didn't she think that it would affect her?
No.
When she heard the word mass deportations?
No.
I'm lost. I removed my repost from a couple days ago, removed my like, it's just, I can't. And as a Brazilian, I've seen so many in my own community do this. And it's to vote against our own interests, to vote against not even our own interests. Like, the way that I vote, the way that I've always voted since I started is thinking about, does this affect me and the people around me? Sometimes I was voting for things that weren't going to affect me. But I thought about the person next to me, the person around me. And I think that's what's missing. Like, when we're talking about, I have my video that I've been talking about Kylie Perkins and like compassion and like the MAGAs going in her comments. And it's just like, that's what's missing, is like, we're missing compassion for each other.
Yeah, very true.
Understanding that, hey, taking the rights for some takes the rights for all.
The people who say that they regret voting for Trump are the same people who fail open book tests. Because the answers were right there in front of you. All you had to do was just Google and read. Everything that Trump has done thus far has been laid out in Project 2025, and that playbook or whatever was released months before Election Day. So you're regretting your vote because his policies are starting to impact you personally, which means you are a selfish person because you didn't care once about the people around you. You just cared about yourself. So apology not accepted. However, I do hope that you continue to educate yourself before the next election. It's never too late to start educating yourself at all. So let this be a lesson, and I don't know, try to do better come next year.
Try to do better come next year. It's very, very important. But don't try to come at midterm election is in November. This is where you have to right your wrongs and know what you're going to do this time. But let's see, because I feel like there is a lot we have to say. But the reason why most of you feel like this issue is not an issue, but it is an issue, because you guys did not know that it's going to be like this. What happens when the person being deported has lived here for 20 years? What happens when they own a small business? What happens when they are raising American children? What happens when they are already paying taxes? What happens? Because now, before anybody comes for me, I'm not saying immigration laws do not exist. I've already said that before. Every country has laws. America has every right to decide who can stay and who can't. That's not a debate. But the debate is, how do you enforce those laws without destroying a community in the process? Because Latinos are literally suffering from this, their own action or their decision. Because there are some people saying they don't talk enough, blah, 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 blah. American economy depends on immigrant labor in a lot of industry. When it comes to agriculture, when it comes to construction, when it comes to hospitality, when it comes to even food processing. Americans depend on them, down to even home care. So this industry employs a lot of immigrants, including people without permanent legal status. So when enforcement increases, it doesn't just affect these people. It doesn't just affect the people that have been arrested. Business loses their workers. Community loses customers. Family loses income. So it's a big chain. Children lose their parents, even if it's for temporary moments. And that's why these clips hit differently. They are more important because now politics has a face. It's not just about the numbers anymore. It's about the people. So by the way, I'm going to say this. By the way, if you're enjoying this conversation, where we'll slow things down and actually think through what is happening instead of screaming at each other, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. Let's continue.
We got some breaking news just coming in, and I believe this is exactly what every single one of you have voted for. The Supreme Court has just handed the Trump administration a major victory. And now ICE is preparing what could become one of its biggest enforcement operations. Here, hold on for a second. Let me explain. According to multiple federal sources, ICE is preparing a nationwide operation after the Supreme Court has cleared the legal path for the Trump administration, which has ended temporary protective status, otherwise known as TPS, which will directly affect 300 Haitian nationals. Now, following the Supreme Court's action, federal officials say that the administration can move forward with ending the TPS protections. Now, according to the reports that I'm seeing, it is saying that ICE is expecting enforcement operations could start as early as next week. And of course, the focus will be Springfield, Ohio, which is housing the majority of the population of the Haitian community. Now, this is one of the biggest immigration developments that we have seen in months. But as always, I want to hear back from every single one of you, because I know my followers will have a lot to say on this subject. Do you believe that the Supreme Court made the right decision on approving to remove these illegal immigrants and send them back home?
So please drop your comments in the comment section. Do you believe and do you approve of that decision? What do you think about it? Drop your comment in the comment section so that I can hear from you. And you know, as usual, I would reply to every message, every comment. I take my time to reply to every comment, and we have a good conversation or a debate.
These are patriots who are trying to do the right thing to keep this country safer.
Tom is trying so hard to defend his agents. The next clip, he says DHS and ICE agents are making this country safer every day, that they're putting their lives on the line for this country. Blah, 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 right? But what I found sickening was what he said at the end of the clip. He said they don't make a lot of money. They hardly get paid anything. Just more lies.
Borders locked down. The men and women, the Border Patrol, men and women of ICE are making this country safer every day. You cannot like what they do. You cannot support immigration enforcement. But that doesn't mean you attack the men and women who put their lives on the line for this nation every day trying to enforce law. If you don't like what ICE is doing, then call your congressman, call your senator, and demand changes in the immigration law. That's the only thing I say. But you just don't burn it down. You just don't burn down the men and women who make so much sacrifices. None of these men and women at ICE make a lot of money. They don't get paid hardly anything. And they're working hard. They're working harder than they ever have worked.
They make like 6 figures, and they got like a $50,000 or $75,000 sign-on bonus. I mean, I guess that's not a lot of money for some people.
Donald Trump promised that ICE enforcement in this country would target the worst of the worst. But instead, billions of taxpayer dollars are being used by ICE to brutalize and kill American citizens and violently target law-abiding immigrant families and communities, including in Maine earlier.
Kai. You see, you know what is going through my mind while listening to this is expectation. That's the word that's going through my mind, expectation. Because honestly, I believe a lot of Americans voted based on what they expected would happen, not necessarily what could happen. And so that thing is an important difference. Some people believe immigration enforcement would focus entirely on violent criminals. Others believe it will not apply to people with legal status, but they're completely different expectations. Now I'm watching people react in real time, and some of them are saying this isn't what I thought it would look like. That doesn't automatically mean they are against the immigration law. It means reality turned out to be more complicated than the campaign speeches that they made. And honestly, isn't that true about almost everything in politics? Politics have 30 seconds to explain something that takes years to understand. Life doesn't work like campaign ads. Life is messy. Families are messy. Immigration is messy. So that's why I think America keep having the same argument over and over again, because both sides see something differently. One side sees the law and the other side sees family and community. And somehow America has to figure out how to balance the both of them, because that's not an easy conversation to have, but it's one that we're going to keep having. So let's continue. There's a man I want you to hear what he's going to say about.
If they are not criminal, why don't you send them back? If you take some criminal people and you send them back, I don't have no problem with that. But those people come for a better life, to work, to get to living with the family. Why they do that to them? Those people come over here to get a better life, and they work hard to build the country. They pay tax, they do everything.
They're always on time at their work. They don't take no days off, no days out. They're always there.
Haiti is not safe right now. They got gang, and the government in Haiti don't do nothing to Haiti. They're not safe.
It's tough. It's tough. I can feel, the pain, We built America. So I don't know what's going on, but that's not fair. That's not fair.
Look, historically, when we've looked at the economy, 9 times out of 10, pollsters will say it's a jobs issue. That's not what Latinos are saying. What Latinos are saying is, I have a job, but it takes me 3 jobs to be able to afford to live where I'm at. And so it's very much an affordability issue. And it's one of the reasons why Republicans are really missing the boat, is because they still have a 1980s understanding of this job creation. Nobody out there is looking for a job. They have a job. The problem is they need too many jobs in order to pay the rent. So affordability is a real issue. And this is where they really blame Donald Trump, for good reason. The price of energy, the price of gas, incidentally, the single largest demographic in America impacted by the price of gas, Latino men 30 and younger. Guess what? That was the most pro-Trump part of the Latino electorate. He's losing those guys for the same reason they came over and bought into it. So, big problems. He's got problems because he's not just hurting his own America First base, but this new coalition that the MAGA folks are trying to build is collapsing for the very same reasons that they made the wrong belief that what they were going to be pursuing and what they were going to be advancing is the exact opposite of what these voters are getting.
So the motherfucking president of the United States just had the fucking caucasity, his orange turd fucking demented headed ass had the fucking audacity to say that Hispanics were born to do farm work because their backs don't break, because if their backs break, they die. I want to see all the fucking people that we're talking about, the Sydney Sweeney and the fucking Duncan. I want that same energy, because what the fuck? Coming from the president of the United States to give such a fucking disgusting comment? Because you cannot tell me that that's not eugenics. You cannot fucking sit here and tell me that. And that's coming from the fucking clown that you guys elected to be running this fucking country. Putting out a comment like that with regards to Hispanic Latino people. What the fuck?
Trump's effect on Latinos was more his lies. They believed his lies about jobs, because Latinos, for the most part, were, at the bottom of the food chain, and what we care about is feeding our families, and moving ahead. So when he says, I got big jobs are coming. You
think people believe that and they listen?
People believe that. They believed, and he lied to every single one of them, and they believed it. So that's unfortunate, but that hopefully, I hope it won't happen again. But the thing about Latinos is we faced this since the beginning of this country. Unfortunately, this is the 4th time that they've come after us to deport us. I mean, because they're grabbing American citizens and they don't care. And it's people who are the driving force of the economy, the essential laborers who are feeding us, who are doing construction, who are painting, plumbers, carpenters, who are doing everything to keep this country running.
Tonight, loved ones of undocumented immigrants say they are fearful for the future.
CBS News Miami's Joan Murray joins us live from Miramar. And Joan, you spoke to people who say they have not been able to contact their loved ones in a while?
Yeah, it's a very unsettling situation here. All day long,
My
people
God.
have been coming in to get information on their immigration status. You're going to hear from one woman who is still waiting to hear what happened to her husband. But in the meantime, we can tell you that several people were detained in South Florida over the weekend, and some were brought here to this immigration center in Miramar. We have been trying to find out exactly what has happened to them. We have put in several requests to find out their status. We have not heard back. We have also not learned exactly how many people altogether in the past week have been taken into custody and whether anyone has been flown back to their native land. So all these questions have now been put to the immigration officials in Washington. That is where we are told our requests have been sent. In the meantime, I've also been checking to find out what about children of undocumented immigrants. And finally, today, I got some clarification from the Broward School District.
Porque todo es incierto.
Laura Garcia said she and her husband arrived from Cuba 4 days ago and are seeking asylum. He went into the immigration office, but after several hours, there was no sign of him.
Con los papeles que nos dan en invitación en la frontera.
She says she's worried about what may happen, especially after South Florida raids over the weekend.
She already had a court date. She was good. Everything was good. He just came in and snatched her.
This man said his wife from Venezuela was taken into custody during a raid in the Miami neighborhood of Brownsville over the weekend, and that 2 construction workers were also rounded up.
I think what's changed is, again, that President Trump got here this time, not only with a strong mandate to do what he said he's going to do, but unlike the first time, he now also understands, and you can see it, the importance of putting his people in there immediately, to get the agenda done immediately.
President Trump has said agents can go into schools and churches to enforce immigration laws. We've gotten a copy of a memo from the Broward superintendent to principals. It reads in part, student records are protected under the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, and that if there are any questions, they should seek guidance from the General Counsel. So based on that memo, it appears, at least in the Broward School District, that they have some policy in place should immigration agents come to a school that they will offer some protection to students. Now, we were also checking about this concept of due process, since under the Constitution, residents are granted due process under the law. And I just heard back from an immigration attorney who clarified that for me. And they basically said that undocumented immigrants do have the same constitutional rights, due process, search and seizure as citizens. The Constitution reads person and not citizen. So that basically is saying that any person is guaranteed due process under the law. So a continuing, evolving story, and we'll continue to follow it.
They took my wife.
This man, who wished not to be identified, says his wife is from Venezuela and has lived in the United States for a few years. She was one of 3 people taken from this home. I'm told the 2 others were men who worked in construction. You see them here. This video, only 1 minute and 52 seconds long. We do not see his wife being removed from the home. But this is a picture of her that he keeps in his wallet. Her name is Vianis Ramirez, and he says she was in the process of becoming a United States citizen.
She already had a court date. She was good. Everything was good. He just came in and snatched her.
These are pictures from the Department of Homeland Security detaining other undocumented men and women in Broward County.
It's despicable what they're doing right now. It's very embarrassing.
President Donald Trump arrived at his Trump National Golf Resort in Doral Saturday, set to host GOP leaders for a conference. This man hopes this message makes it to him.
I get a chance to talk to you, man. Yo, please, man, let's work something out. So, you, man, let me keep my wife here. And, you know what I'm saying, man? She deserves to be here, man.
ICE reports nearly 1.
So my name is Efrain Gomez Jr. I'm from Donna, Texas, a little small town here in the RGB. I'm a construction owner. I'm here as a 2-time Trump supporter.
My name is Ruben Ruiz Jr. I'm a land developer, builder also here in the Valley. I've been doing this for 24 years now. I am a Republican. I've voted Republican for many years.
My name is Claudio Guerrero. Voted for Mr. Trump every time he was on the ballot.
So we all know where this is headed, right? You know where it's going, right?
Yeah, we do.
So let's go ahead and let it happen.
1 in 5 Latino men regret voting for President Trump. That's you. That's you. That's you.
Will y'all ever learn?
My wife is a healthcare professional. Ask me if I have healthcare.
You do not.
And you vote in the worst way ever.
They detain naturalized citizens, okay?
Yeah.
So how can you, I mean, they did the paperwork. They did everything right. Why are you detaining them?
He told you what he was going to do, mass deportations, and then he was going to cut health care. He ran on that. So when it's happening and you're confused, then you make me confused that you are confused.
Everything he promised, he forgot about.
So what's happening now is you figured out that your machismo ways are not working. And now that is affecting you personally, especially when it comes to your business and your money.
Yeah.
Now you're yelling for the Democratic Party to help you.
Mr. Trump, you're supposed to be our hero, man. But I don't understand how this makes any sense for anyone.
Listening to these people call this man a hero will always be weird to me.
One of the shows that I would watch with Dad was The Apprentice. And I believe we were conditioned. I believe we were conditioned to keep seeing him.
As always, as more information comes out, I got you.
I could not, in any good conscience, vote or support a Republican candidate.
First, you call him your hero. Next, you now say in good conscience you're not going to vote for a Republican candidate. And listen to me. You guys, the thing is, Trump said it, that he was going to do this when he was campaigning. He said it. And I don't understand what you guys mean by the promises. Because make it make sense. You thought he was not going to come for you. Because you are singing for Donald Trump. Hey, I will vote for Donald Trump. Listen, you guys have dug your own grave, and you are finding it out. So I don't have any sympathy for you guys. Sorry, I do not have anything. And I feel like one of the biggest problems today is that we should stop asking ourselves politically different questions. Every time we are now concerned about red versus blue, Republican versus Democrat, Trump versus Biden, conservative versus liberal. Everybody's arguing. But who exactly are we holding accountable? Because the last time I checked, these politicians aren't the ones standing in line at the grocery store, wondering why everything costs so much. They are not the ones trying to pay the rent. They are not the ones deciding whether to put $20 in a gas tank or buy grocery. But you and I. So this November, the power is in your hand. You're going to do the right thing at the meantime.
The fact that so many Latino men voted for Trump this election is embarrassing and pathetic. Trump won 54% of Latino male voters this election compared to 36% in 2020. This is the same man who ran a campaign on wanting to round up Latinos, is calling for the largest deportation operation in American history, recently had a speaker at his rally call Puerto Rico trash, and wants to end birthright citizenship for the children of undocumented immigrants. Like, do y'all really seek white validation that badly, or does the machismo in you really stop you from voting for a woman?
You guys know why Donald Trump is hunting down Latinos and putting us in concentration camps, right? And kidnapping us out the streets. There's a reason for it. That's all his campaign is doing. That's all they have focused on. If you noticed,
you guys
ever since he became president in January, his main focus was Latinos, Mexicans, getting us out of this country. And there's a reason behind it.
Yeah.
This is the reason right here. Our population, as you can see right here, it's growing. And it's not going to stop. This is the Latino Mexican population in the United States. And it's growing, it's growing, it's growing. It's growing. The people are scared. They're scared of brown people.
Wow.
This is the main motive. They want us out the country because our population is increasing. They know in the future we will be the majority or at least half the country's population. And they're scared. They're shitting bricks. They don't want brown people, Mexicans here. They hate us. And they're doing everything in their power to get us out of here. Again, putting us in alligator concentration camps, kidnapping us off the streets. Sad. You never know what's going to happen next. They're going to come to your house.
It's so sad.
If the government makes it official, they could come to your house and get you out of your house. But guess what? We're here. We ain't going anywhere. A large percentage of us are American born. We're from the States. And no, a lot of us aren't anchor babies. Our parents are also Americans, or they're legal citizens. All right? Keep your head up, my fellow Mexicans, Latinos. We got this. I know we're
you know that
we're in a country where
what's crazy
we're
about
being
this is
hated
that
on. They don't want us
you guys
here.
voted
But we got
for Trump with hopes that it's gonna like make policy and things easier for you guys. Like the thing is, when he said he was gonna do this mass deportation, you guys felt he promised what's it called now? You guys felt he promised only to take away criminals and the rest. See, now you guys are finding it difficult and hard to understand why he's doing this and why he's doing that. I don't find it hard. I don't find it confusing, because you guys, where you sound now, make it even more convincing or confusing rather to understand, because make it make sense to me why all of a sudden you feel like, oh, this guy is saying this guy is saying that, this guy is saying this guy is saying that, because he literally said this from the onset, that he's going to do this, he's going to do that. He said it from the beginning. I was going to do this, going to do that.
Seen some video this weekend of Latinos who voted for Trump crying because now their abuelas and their tios are getting deported.
Right.
I'm having a very hard time mustering up any sympathy for those people.
Yeah.
And look, I'm an immigrant.
Yeah.
I know the desperation that it takes to leave your country. Amongst immigrants in particular, there is no doubt that we want anybody who had the opportunity to come to this great country and committed a crime, we want them punished, we want them deported to the fullest extent of the law. But a lot of good, hardworking people who are in our schools, who are our colleagues, who own houses and businesses here, who are the parents of U.S. citizen children, are getting caught up in this. Because it's been reported that ICE offices all over the country have been given a quota. There is no way they meet that quota just with criminal aliens. And let me just say, I think that what he's done with the military, in addition to the legal aspects that may be involved, has a lot to do with a publicity stunt. The point is cruelty. The point is instilling fear. But it's also very costly. A charter DHS flight, it's been reported, is something like $8,500. A military C-130 is $816,000. So each one of those planes is costing us, so that he can have his picture and his photo op, 100 times more what a charter flight would be. And I have been saying for 2 months that people need to get prepared, because he said this was coming and he's living up to that.
Yes, he said.
So this Latina, who is a Trump supporter, got deported from Mexico back to the U.S., and I want to use this video to show y'all, no matter how hard you try, you will never be white. And I say that because she made videos going, oh, look, people are making too big of a deal about Trump and the deportations. He's only going after criminals. If you want to be here, you should do it the right way. Then she goes to Mexico, gets stopped by authorities while she's coming back from a concert. They check her papers and then they deport her.
Yes.
Now, they deported her because she overstayed her visa. I know some people are like, well, you should have done it the right way. Calm down. Let's just give her a little grace here. She's not a criminal. Sure, she has ideologies you don't agree with, but she wasn't committing any crimes. She was down in Mexico partying it up.
Obviously.
Now, this is where the you'll never be white part comes in. There's over 1 million undocumented white people living in Mexico.
Wow.
They are taking advantage of the system. They're not paying taxes. They're down there just partying it up. And like advocates in Mexico have been saying, that authorities don't go after white people. They actually go after brown people. So you were racially profiled in a country that you were trying to get dual citizenship for.
You are racially profiled. You need to know that. Just know that. Because the problem is that you guys thought from beginning voting Trump would save your ass, and saying things like saying that, oh, we are voting Trump is just going to deport only criminals. Can I ask you a question? Is your father a criminal because he's going back to his native land? Or is your brother a criminal? Or tell me, is your school friends, are they criminal? Are they criminal? These are people that have been paying tax. Are they criminal? Now farmers are going to lose workers over this mass deportation. Are they criminals? Are they criminals? You are racially profiled if you don't know.
So if you were racially profiled in Mexico, what do you think is going to happen to you in the US when Trump comes into office? Because there are at least 500,000 white people undocumented in the US, and they're never bothered.
Yes.
Because I need you to remember that the immigration system was never set up to hurt white people. It was set up to hurt people of color globally. Our movements are constantly restricted, while white people are never bothered when they do the same thing we do. So as much as you say, oh, well, if you want to come to this country, you have to do it the right way. It is not about doing it the right way. It is always, the immigration system has always been about hurting black and brown people, no matter where we are in the world. So please keep thinking how you're safe now that you're in the US, back in your home country. They don't see you as a US citizen either. They want to take away your citizenship. They want to denaturalize people. So please, let's get rid of that colonized mind, because this immigration system was never made for us.
Period. There's no way, there's no more way to say it. There's no way to say it. This system was not made to help or save Latinos. Look at the man saying his wife is at the process of getting a citizen, whatever shit, that she's having a time in court or whatever. They did not even wait for her to go to court. They did not wait for that. It's not about anything criminal. It's about just deporting everybody.
You told me that you voted for President Trump in 2024. Do you regret that decision? ¿Te arrepientes esa decisión?
Yes, 100%.
Why do you regret that decision?
That's because it's nothing that's true.
Oh my God.
True. He say he go to catch the delincuentes. Criminals, yeah. And right now, he don't follow to criminals. He go to specific to Latino people. The DHS come specific to me and catch to me. Not other people. Because don't care to other people. Specific Latino people.
Ice, kick down the cage. Fuck MAGA hats, stuck in their rage. Fuck Trump, clown on the stage. We burning the system, setting the blaze. Fuck ICE, they tearing the lives apart. Fuck MAGA hate with their cold dead hearts. Fuck Trump lies from the very first start.
So the MAGA home builder, whose business is being destroyed by Trump's immigration policy, is back with another interview that is more embarrassing and more telling than the first one. This is Mario Guerrero, no relation. This 3-time Trump voter did an interview with the New York Times earlier this year. He talked about how South Texas construction industry has been badly hurt by Trump's immigration policies, and that it is mostly hurting because they're not going after undocumented people. They're going after workers who have documentations. Doing that whole "this is not what I voted for" excuse, even though we tried to warn him. Well, in a new interview, he put on full display the cognitive dissonance that Latinos for Trump have. Because in an interview with Texas Monthly, Mario said he doesn't remember Trump saying that Mexicans were the problem. He remembers him saying Venezuelans and how they have one of the biggest gangs in the world. The interviewer did press Mario on that, saying, hey, Trump started his career saying that Mexico is not sending its best. And Mario kept saying, honestly, I don't remember him saying that. And whether or not you want to believe him, this does say a lot about Latino for Trump's psyche. That they all believe that Trump is talking about someone else. Mexicans thinks he's talking about Venezuelans. Venezuelans thinks he's talking about Mexicans. Cubans thinks he's talking about everybody else. Dominicans thinks he's talking about Haitians. When Trump is talking about all of us. That's what I've been trying to tell Trump supporters. They can't tell us apart. I remember telling a racist once that I'm from the Dominican Republic, and they said, what part of Mexico is that? All of you believe that you're the good one. You're the rule to the exception. They're going to love you. And they're talking about everybody else. They're talking about you too. And a lot of you wouldn't even be in this place if you weren't hurting financially the way you are now. Because you were able to build businesses literally off the labor of other Latinos. You were able to rise in the ranks because of the work of so many activists, Latino activists, black activists. And then because you made a little money, you thought you were better than everyone else. And then what did you do when you inherited all that work that was done by activists and the ancestors? You spat in their face by voting for a racist that is working to take away all the progress that we have made. You're a builder, right? Go out there and build coalitions. Go out there and build a movement to get rid of all these MAGA people that are stealing so much from us. That's the least you can do after voting for Trump 3 times and getting us into this mess when people were warning you. Share this with any Latino who supports Trump, who thinks, well, I'm one of the good ones. They're going to end up just like Mario. You need to stop aligning yourself with white supremacists and start building coalition amongst people of color.
You see, this is so funny because I have many times said this thing. Do not let politics influence your decision. If you're gonna choose any politician, because these guys lie, if you're gonna choose any politician, make sure by default that you are sure of these persons, because most of them are just liars. They just say things to make themselves happy, and when they do that, when you vote for them, they are gone. Bam. If you're going to vote for them, you must understand that you're not just voting for them because of what they say. You are voting because of the policy they plan on implementing. If you're going to also look at their character, look at their lifestyle, look at their track record, what are the things they've done differently that would make you say, I'm going to vote for this person now, I'm not going to vote for this person. That's one of the things you have to pay attention to, because most of you do not pay attention to this thing, and it's costing you big time. It's costing you guys big time. Now look at you guys, your family is being deported, workers are losing business, the economy is losing its value bit by bit, because why? We are losing workers on a large scale by the hour, by the day. And these guys are not even slowing down. They keep going further to make sure they are carrying and capturing more people in the name of undocumented immigrants. But bro, this is not just what it is. You are being racially profiled, and you don't know that. You should know that now. Don't forget to like this video,